Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for thank you for inviting me, EIT Food. It's a pleasure to be here. I have to say straight off the bat, a lot of what Chris has just said, you'll hear again from me. Better Fish is a food tech startup based in Berlin, Germany, and it's our mission to make seaweed a mainstream ingredient in every food category. Our co-founders are seaweed lovers, seaweed experts, and what they realized was, in Asia, there's this huge culture of eating seaweed, and it's been that way for thousands or for hundreds of years. In Europe, we're not really doing that so much, but seaweed is a really incredible crop. There are over 12,000 different species worldwide, and by kind of combining them in different ways, you can create different flavor profiles, different texture profiles, and what we realized was that actually there's a lot of problems with sustainable seafood and the status quo of that. And maybe actually seaweed could be an answer to some of those pressing questions. So if we look at the global population, as Chris said, it's growing and the demand for seafood continues to rise. 3 billion people worldwide are actually consuming seafood as their primary protein source. And of course, they're not necessarily going out and catching fish by themselves. To make this industry come alive, it takes 700 million fishermen and women worldwide. But 90% of fish stocks are either exploited or overfished. And for the farmers themselves, this is a huge problem. And actually, to give you an example, we had on the 29th of February here in Germany, we had what was called End of Fish Day, which is the day where Germany's own national production of seafood had already been exhausted. So it basically meant that demand in Germany already exceeded supply on the 29th of February for the year. So everything that we are consuming after that time has been imported. But with these fewer supplies and stocks, to use the word, fishermen and women across the world are having to go further out into the ocean. They're going on longer voyages. They're trawling even greater parts of the ocean. And so you not only have here fishermen and women who are further away from home, they're longer away from home, and they're picking up more and more bycatch. And yeah, there's a lot of not just environmental but also social and labor standards problems involved in this as well. And so, yeah, as I said, our solution is seaweed. So we have actually made a vegan, plant-based tuna alternative based on seaweed. The seaweed is there to provide the marine flavor. It's a unique combination of 2 different species of European seaweed that we use to make the taste just like real tuna fish. And this not only has great benefits for our health. It contains fiber, it contains protein, it contains iodine, minerals and vitamins. But also back to the point of, bycatch, and what we can say for seaweed is, well, if we look at for what it takes to cultivate or to catch 1 ton of tuna fish, you're also always going to be collecting 1 ton of bycatch, which is the animals and the marine life that, in these big nets that is picked up with the fish that the fishermen don't actually want. So it's a lot of unnecessary loss of life. But by cultivating seaweed and making seaweed-based fish instead, you avoid all of this. So in theory, you save then 2 tons of marine animals that don't have to die for our consumption.
Okay, so you're looking for alternatives to fish, and you are, let's say, wrapping that, if I may say, in seaweed to still give the marine flavor. Let's say it's something like that. You're using the power of seaweed to explore alternatives to fish.
Exactly, and seaweed has tons of potential. So we're starting with alternative fish as kind of our first application of seaweed. But there's so many different species. Some that taste like truffles, some that taste like pepper, lemon, parmesan. So in theory, and what we want to do is use seaweed to make a whole host of new foods in the future as well.